What's going on, everybody? We're back with another episode. You're now tuning in to For the Love University. I'm your host, Davey Dave. And on this episode, super excited for it. It's going to be really insightful. We have a entrepreneur, businessman, Renaissance man in the building. He does a lot of great things. He's been a mentor to me, someone that's helped me along my journey and has been with me every step of the way ever since we met about 3-4 years ago. And I'm excited for the viewers and the audience to get the chance to, listen to an impactful conversation. So I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself, and we go get the show on the road.
Excited to be here. Tim Williams, owner and founder of T-Will Sports and co-owner of 40 Acres Investments.
Okay. 40 Acres Investments. I like that name. That's dope. Yeah. So we gonna go ahead and dive right in, and I like to start the show out with a background. So you go ahead and just give the viewers and the audience your background, where you come from, what you grew up being a part of, what your interests are, and just a little bit about everything about you.
All right. Born in St. Louis, Missouri. I still claim that to be my home place. Raised in Minneapolis, north and south, predominantly on the north side. Product of Minneapolis Public School. Graduate of Washburn High School. Went on to play college basketball. Played college basketball at Lake Region State College, and then again at Morehead State University up north, now Minnesota State University at Morehead. Was fortunate enough, blessed enough to play basketball for 6 years as a job, just in different minor leagues, minor professional leagues around the country. Spent a good deal of my time in coaching. Coached high school boys, high school girls, college women, basketball for about 12 years. Been married 10 years. My wife, Kelly Williams, also co-founder of 40 Acre Investments. My 3 kids, Charles, Kaya, TJ. Family's like my life. I'm a collector of things. I like to collect sneakers and watches. When I'm not working or doing anything related to the business, I have a huge passion for creating generational wealth for my kids and their kids. Being in a position to do so now, after finding my entrepreneurial voice at 38, I will probably really hit my stride in entrepreneurism about 38 years old. And at 45 now, seeing the fruits of that labor and understanding what that process has been like. The journey has been fun, exciting, hard, sleepless.
For sure.
But, wouldn't trade it in for the world, and my financial and professional freedoms and independence are something I hold high value to.
It's dope, man. It's real dope. So this conversation, man, I'm looking forward to it. We go talk about a few things. We go talk about fashion, entrepreneurship, business, and generational wealth, as you spoke about. So let's start with sports, though. And you being the owner, founder of T-Will Sports. What is T-Will Sports for those out there that don't know what that is, and what made you want to create a company around athletics?
T-Will Sports is a youth sports development company. Why I do that? Because that's what I'm an expert in, right? I spent most of my life, or all of my life, around a game, basketball. And, basketball helped me kind of get into other things, dabble, but not get serious about. But I love sports. I love watching sports. I like football, I like baseball, I like basketball. And I can pretty much watch any sport and find some level of enjoyment in it. What we do is we provide before and after school sports activities for elementary, middle schools, community centers, after school programs. We partner with schools to come into the schools and provide Phi-Ed, which we wrote our own curriculum to change the way that physical education looks, because it's probably the most under-evolved subject in schools.
Okay.
So the idea of being able to provide a quality youth sports experience for kids inside of a school will ensure that they are learning the game and having the opportunity to fall in love with that game the right way.
Okay.
And to double down on that, for kids who look like me, it allows me to put my programs in inner city charter schools.
All right.
And so when I say give them a quality sports experience, something I probably didn't have growing up in school, unless my mother either paid for it or had to take me there.
Yeah.
Where I eliminate both of those hurdles by being in school with those kids.
Right.
So it's no financial burden to the parents, and they don't have to deal with transportation issues, and I can ensure that those kids are getting the same quality experience that everyone else is.
Okay, that's dope. What makes you guys at T Will Sports more unique than other, youth development programs? And is T Will Sports just basketball?
No,
or is there other sports?
Yeah, we do 9 different sports, not just your typical basketball, football, soccer, volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
We go in even deeper into things like lacrosse, pickleball, dodgeball, kickball.
Mm-hmm.
And partially, I think what makes us different and separates us from everyone else is because we have a wide range of sports,
Mm-hmm.
and our approach to the way youth sports, in my opinion, should be delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We prioritize the experience over the win.
Okay.
Because kids don't quit sports because they win and lose games. They quit sports because the experience sucks. So when you prioritize the experience, you can preserve the longevity of the participation of the kids.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. That's really dope. You said you partner with public schools or charter schools. What are some of the schools that T Will Sports have partnered with, and how do those partnerships come about?
Relationships, and right now in a state of, with the state of education system and there being a shortage of teachers,
Mm-hmm.
Our approach and our structure is kind of the answer for their phy ed needs. When you can't find a gym teacher, you can call us, or we can connect and then bring what we do to your school with state standard curriculum that we have written and we own.
Wow.
And partner with schools like KIPP, Minnesota, and the North Side, and North Star.
Mm-hmm.
Friendship Academy we've been there for multiple years. We've been in Hiawatha Academy. We're in Ascension Private School.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, we're in New City Charter School.
Mm-hmm.
And we partner with school districts like Anoka Hennepin, which is the largest school district in the state.
Right.
Brooklyn Center, Robbinsdale, private schools like St. Bart's Catholic School in Wayzata,
Okay.
partnering with community ed programs in St. Louis Park, Hopkins. And so being in a position to do those things helps us broaden our horizons, and how it comes about is the hustle and grind, essentially. You go out there and you have something good and you believe in it, you can sell it.
Makes a lot of sense. Do you plan on taking this program national, or is it something that you want to keep kind of in-house locally in Minnesota?
Yeah, we have the opportunities. We have opportunities that we're looking into about expanding, going to different markets, providing it in a very different way, right? And I think that being an entrepreneur and there's the service aspect of things where we come in and we deliver the service, but then it's also the IP aspect of it, which is why we have a written curriculum that's copywritten, right? So that copywritten curriculum is ours. We own it. And so we have working through some different licensing agreements with other districts and other park and recreation organizations around the country.
Super dope, man. At IP, talk a little bit about IP and what that means, and what's the value of that?
I think the value it's tangible, right? It's something that you have created, something that you've written, something that you've recorded.
Well,
that is yours.
My bad to cut you off. Before you dive into it in depth, what does IP stand for those that may not know out there?
Intellectual property.
Okay.
The things that you walk around with. Put it like this: we've all had. If you're a dreamer, a thought person who really thinks about ideas, right? If you're an idealistic visionary, I guarantee we have all been sitting on our couch, sitting around looking like, man, all you really got to do is create this A, B, and C,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's in your head.
Mm-hmm.
But until you write it down and put action to it, you can go to sleep and wake up 2 weeks from now, and there's a commercial about that very thing that you were thinking about that someone else actually thought about and put into action.
And you're like, oh man, I literally was just
Right,
thinking about that.
Yes, and there's the thing where where there's dreams and then there's actions,
Mm-hmm.
right? Taking those actions and moving forward, and that's really, for me, it took a while. Like I knew what I had, but it took man 3.5, 4 years to write it down and actually put pen to paper.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was the absolute driving force of getting it out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like, yo, we have to do this. I'll get to it. And then it was just like, no, we need to get to it. And we wrote 2 curriculums, one 110 pages, the other was like 168 pages. And I think we did it in like 4 weeks. And then we binded it all. Went on Amazon, figured out how to bind a book.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And then came home and cleared off our dining room table for 2 weeks and binded it all together. And now we have it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's mine. Copywriting, right? Understanding that, it's yours and no one can actually use it.
Right.
So I'll give this nugget of something that I know that, the fastest way to copyright anything, right, is, so I have my documents, right? I have the documents, 168 loose leaf pages and 110 loose leaf pages. I take both of those packages to the post office.
Mm-hmm.
I give them to the clerk there. The post office is federal,
Mm-hmm.
right? I put it in an envelope. I give it to them. They look at me. I tell them I want to mail it to myself. They just stamp it, seal it, and it's and it's federally stamped with a date.
Mm-hmm.
That's copywriting.
Wow.
So in a sense, let's say 2 years from now, someone decides they want to use my idea. I go to court, all the different things, and we're battling in court.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do is prove that I had the idea prior to their use of the vision.
Yep.
And so I'm able to take that one document that I mailed to myself 2 years prior that's still sealed, federally sealed,
Mm-hmm.
give it to a judge. You see the date, you open it up, you see the contents,
Mm-hmm.
and the contents are what I said they were. Case closed.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And so with that IP and creating your curriculum, you're able to then shop that around
Yes.
and make additional money on top of.
Licensing, selling the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, you buy the curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
right? You could buy the curriculum from me.
Okay.
Let's just use, these are not real numbers. I'm
Right.
just throwing
Yeah,
numbers out here, right?
Let's do a range of numbers, right?
Okay. Let's say I sell you my curriculum. You have 10 people,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you need 10 copies. I'm going to tell you all 10 for $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
So now that's what, $50,000?
Mm-hmm.
$50,000. So at $50,000, you get the book. Cool. Now you need someone to train them. So now you have to pay me to do professional development.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come 3 times a year. 3 times a year, I'll be able to see you, and I'll charge you probably $10,000 for those 3 times.
So that's another
And now
30,000.
we're up to 60, right? And it's going to cost me 3 trips,
Mm-hmm.
to three meetings, right? And the additional work, we work out an hourly rate in which you can call me and I can walk you through it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and let's say you bought that and that license, it's only good for a year.
So you could
So
put
next year, I'll probably do a revision to that curriculum.
Okay.
Now you need that one.
Okay.
So it's the gift that may keep on giving. As long as you're willing to, as long as you're willing to put in the work. And I mean, we're always going to be trying to find ways to stay innovative, stay up to date, kind of stay ahead of the game. Right? Like what can I do? How can I improve on this?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote the curriculum in August. There's probably another 15 pages of revisions already done.
Okay.
Of what we learned this year.
Right.
Right? Like learning as you go and just being able to know when you have when you're wrong or there's a place in which for improvement. And you do that by polling the people who are doing it. And we work with kids, so I talk to kids all the time. So we have employees, right? So how do I maintain like quality control of what's happening? We have kids, so if I have an employee who's out teaching the class, teaching my students, you would think that maybe I'd go to the school and ask the administrators, what do they think? How's it going? And the reality is most administrators don't have time to check into every single class.
For sure.
So when they give me that answer, it's it's going great.
Mm-hmm.
It's going great because you haven't heard anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's going great because ain't no one complaining to you.
Right.
It's not going great by my standard. Like I'm about the experience. I'm selling and I have sold and I put my name on a personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
So either, one of my guys get a day off and I go teach the class. I go teach the class because I think the way I do it is the way I want it done, number one. But then when I do it the way I do it, and I ask the kids, is that different than what you usually see? That answer is worth $1 million to me.
For sure.
It's worth $1 million to me. No, this is just like we always do.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
No, we never do this. There's room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that you have to continually keep your paws and handprints upon everything that you decide to put your name on in or sell.
Makes a lot of sense. So that intellectual property is very, very valuable. And it seems like that stream of revenue, like you said, is definitely the gift that keeps on giving. And some that I would say, me personally, I've never really thought about getting into is like writing down the steps that it takes, that I've taken to be an entrepreneur or to start a streetwear brand, and then I can package that up and sell that.
Yes. There's so much, and it's one of those things where the IP is really the long game, right? It's not going to bring you no fast money. It's not going to come today or tomorrow. It'll happen over time as you continue to prove the methodology behind it, right? Like as long as you seem to be, you're in the streetwear brand and you've created it from scratch, right? That process is crazy. But the one thing I encourage all entrepreneurs to do is sell the whole you, right? The whole you. Because let's be real. Like, you can go into a high school and be a speaker.
Yeah.
What are you speaking about? The fact that I started a clothing brand from scratch. And there's a journey and there's a story there. There's a story deeper than what anyone may know about how you got here.
For sure.
Right? It's never about the destination. It's always about the journey. And people want to know about the journey, right? Like, because it's cool to see where I am, but more importantly is to understand how I got here.
Yeah. It's a bar right there. It's never about the destination. It's all about the journey. That's a bar. So we probably go capture this episode with that. Go capture this episode with that. Let's dive into fashion a little bit while we already on the subject. What are some of your favorite fashion brands?
Being an athlete, I wear a lot of Nike. I do a lot of Nike, Jordan stuff. And try to be smart with it because I spend a lot of money and I own stock in it. Yeah. Right. Literally invested in stock, so it's one of those you kind of invest where I wasn't really big into stocks, and when I got into like stocks and bonds, right, I started just investing in things that I do and things that I use, and Nike is one of those things. So
you purchase stock in it because you are a frequent shopper of the brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a tip. That's a bar right there. Also,
I contribute to the success,
right?
On some level, or a lot of levels, probably. I love, I like to be comfortable. Fall is probably my favorite season. I believe in the fall, you can use your entire fashion. You can use your entire wardrobe in the fall. You can go a lot of different ways. I've as of the last couple years, I've frequently, consciously, and consistently spent money with black entrepreneurs almost exclusively from Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that consists of a lot of T-shirts or hoodies or different brands, just because I feel like, you know, every sale counts.
Yeah.
Right? And if I can spend, I don't recognize, I guess, relate to the Gucci, the Prada, the higher end luxury. That's never been my world.
Mm-hmm.
It probably never will be my world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My world is more from, you know, grassroots of, you know, I'm more excited about what people create and kind of buying into that when I see it, and it's dope.
That's dope. That's super dope. You know, is merch important to your company or your brands that you're growing?
No.
No.
It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like for my guys to be able to be. It's for strictly for promotion and use only.
Okay.
Like I've never sold anything.
Okay.
If I have it, I give it away.
Okay.
Right? Like I give it away because I want my brand out there. I want my logo seen. And it's an investment, right? It's an investment no more than, you know, when you're doing a party, you don't charge for the flyer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just want them to show up.
Yeah.
So that's my way of just kind of putting them in nice clothes, nice gear, and making sure the logo and the brand is out there.
Okay. And touching back on the last answer that you was given, how important is it for people to support black fashion brands and fashion designers, and you know, what advice would you give to, you know, up and coming entrepreneurs in that space?
Stay to the grind. Continue to stay true to what you do. Your uniqueness, your vision, all of those things matter. And I think it reflects in the products that you put out. Right? Like you have to really consciously do it. Because we all can. I mean, the average Instagram hoodie is probably $60, $70. You'll go blow that doing something different.
Yeah.
Real easy.
Yeah.
Real easy. And then you might not even like it as much.
Mm-hmm.
You do it more or less for popular demand or public appearances or what someone else may believe or may think. But what someone else said, it was hot. I mean, I think that everyone needs to use their own mind and their own thoughts when they do those things, right? Like, I done seen a lot of ugly Gucci shit. Like in my life, that shit's ugly. Like some of it just ain't hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just because it had that G on it don't make it hot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
For
right?
sure.
Like,
for sure.
Like, and I'm just saying, like, using that as an example, right? And it just, I just mostly just use your eyes and just go with what's hot. And that's what, man. I mean, the price tag don't make it no more hotter, right? Like, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a husband and a father with 3 kids, and don't nobody give a damn what kind of belt I got on.
Yeah.
Whether it say Gucci or anything else, none of that. Like, I know I keep saying Gucci, but I mean that's just the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
But no, not. I mean, I think that I believe you can find your fashion sense and fulfillment, even if you just exclusively went with black designers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also just unapologetically a pro-black.
Love that, man. Love that. What is the best sneaker of all time?
Jordan 5.
Jordan 5. Is there a certain
Original
colorway?
Original colorways. You can go with the black and white, or the white, but they have to have Nike Air and no Jordan sign.
Okay, I can see that. All right, let's go on to our first segment. So we gonna play a game called This or That, and I'm just gonna rapid fire stuff at you, right?
Got you.
And then you just choose which one that you prefer. So we gonna start with intelligence or strength,
Intelligence.
creative or logical,
Creative.
sight or hearing,
Sight.
time or money,
Time.
See into the future or change the past.
See in the future.
Pause or rewind time.
Pause.
Ability to fly or ability to read minds.
Read minds.
Okay. Successful entrepreneur or successful team player.
Entrepreneur.
Get $1,000 a week for the rest of your life or $1 million at once.
$1,000 a week.
Why?
I mean, I don't want to lose my edge. You give me $1 million at once, I might slow down. I might start taking it easy. And in the long run, that's going to hurt me.
You might pass away tomorrow.
I might.
Give me the $1 million today. Give me the $1 million today.
You said $1,000 a day, right?
No, $1,000 a week.
For the rest of my life?
Yeah, or $1 million today.
$1,000 a week. $2,000 a week.
All right. 1 million followers on Instagram or 100,000 cash.
Give me the cash. Okay, my followers.
Let's see. I got two more here. Be 6 inches taller or $500,000 richer.
$500,000 richer. My career is over.
Communism or capitalism.
Capitalism.
Okay. Last one. Success or happiness.
Happiness.
Why? It's not a trick question either.
Why happiness?
Yeah.
Because if I'm happy, I'm probably successful.
Okay.
It's probably the one thing you can have both of.
For sure. Okay. I like that. All right, that's the end of our first segment. This or that. I like those answers though. Except for the $1 million.
You want the million up front?
Give me the million today.
I'm not mad about that.
All right, we go talk a little bit more about entrepreneurship and just
let me clarify my answer for a moment. Right?
All right, let's do it.
So you said $1,000 a week or $1 million in a day.
Yeah.
So here's my thought, and I think a wise man told me this. What you do with $100, you do with $1 million. If you blow through 100, you'll blow through $1 million. It's real like that. It's true. It don't change. What you do with $1, you do with 10.
Yeah.
What you do with it, it's
very, very true.
So the reality is, if I could continue to save $1,000, or if you know who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Right. You got to know who you are as a person before you answer that question. I probably shouldn't be given $1 million. Right. Right? I shouldn't. Like, if you just give me that, I think I would. I appreciate it more than $1,000 a day. Because you give me $1 million, like you can blow because you can blow through that, and you can blow through $1 million quickly.
If they give you $1 million cash right now, what's the first thing you doing with it?
Buying real estate.
Buy real estate. You invested it. Okay.
Because that's the only. It's gonna leave.
Yeah.
Right. It's about where is it going.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. You think you can spend $1 million in a day? Do you think not you necessarily, but do you think a person can spend $1 million in a day?
Yes, I believe a person can spend $1 million in a day, and if I'm gonna spend $1 million, I'm only buying things that appreciate.
Okay. Now you said let's talk a little bit about real estate. What's the name of your real estate company again?
40 Acres Investments.
40 Acres Investments. Okay, you and your wife co-owners.
Yes.
What piqued your interest when it comes to real estate?
The long game of generational wealth.
Yeah.
Being able to have things that appreciate over time. We currently have three properties. We own a home in Robbinsdale here in the metro area, and we have land, tiny homes, and a bigger lake house in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And so, with just being in a position to just own like land, acres.
Yeah.
Right, like it's different. 40 acres was just like that thing that we were owed.
For sure.
Got, so
for sure.
The goal is to go get that.
For sure.
One way or the other. Go get the 40 acres, and you know what I mean. So there's those things, and ownership, just being able to kind of impact the community in different ways, and whether that's invested in some people who are doing great things or because the hardest thing to do with anything is to start.
Yeah.
Right, you know that as well as I do, because most people don't fully understand what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
So if we could be in a position to kind of help anyone or anything, or doing things and making decisions and moves that impact the community, for the people that look like us,
Mm-hmm.
most importantly, we will.
For sure. What goes into your investment strategy?
Go into every deal winning.
What do you mean by that?
So if you're gonna buy real estate that I already had. Buy real estate that you have equity in right away, day one.
How does one have equity in real estate right away?
So if you, let's say you go and you buy a house. So we bought a crib, and it's about buying when the market's right.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's a seller's market. Like for the last, I want to say, 16 months, it's been like a seller's market.
Mm-hmm.
Like whoever's selling the house, right? Like for example, you in your house right now, and your house is anywhere between $200,000 and $400,000, and you price your house at $305,000. It's a seller's market right now. Inventory's low, so you selling your house, you probably get 5 offers over asking price.
Mm.
So now there's a bidding war at your original ask of 305. Before you know it's at 325, then it's at 345. At 355, you sell your house at 365.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, if you're an investor, I'm not invested in that right now
Mm-hmm.
because I'm losing.
Yeah.
I overpaid. Right? It's gonna take me forever to get back to zero, and then try to get, and then I have to
Make
hold
a
on
profit,
to it even
yeah.
longer to gain equity.
Mm-hmm.
So being in positions where it's a buyer's market, where there's a lot of things on there, and you end up buying a house under list price,
Mm-hmm.
where you probably got $5,000-$10,000 in equity in the house. You went into the deal winning.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you look to purchase properties that need renovations and fixing and everything like that?
Coincidentally, we have renovated every property we've bought.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the thought process behind that?
Being a visionary, being able to see things, see
Mhm.
it, like I may buy something that someone may not want, but I'm also buying it with the sole intention of fixing it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you look at that, you look at the total picture, not what the cost of the house is, but what's the cost of the house plus the renovation,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if the house is worth, let's say this home is worth about, right now it's worth about 140, right? But they're selling it for like 125, right? So you buy it for the 125 with the intention of putting another $35,000, $30,000 in there. So now you're up to like what, 155.
Mm-hmm.
So you're at 155. They're saying it's worth 140, but you go through there, you go renovate and everything else. But on the other side of renovation, the house appraised at 185.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're still up 20.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And so being able to see things like that, and renovations are a pain in the ass. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks. Like no matter what I'm saying, it sucks, man. It sucks because the unknown. It's a gamble, but the unknown. But like once you start down this path,
Yeah.
you kind of got to see it to the end,
Mm-hmm.
and you usually end up spending more than you thought you would.
Yeah. Is there a certain formula or kind of like an ideological
Ideological
Thank
approach. No.
Yes.
No, I mean not that my wife or I have have perfected. No, I mean we're very much still in the learning phase of this.
Okay.
Right. I lean on people who I know that are in the real estate industry who've done this for a longer period of time, and I'm a big advocate asking for help.
Yeah.
Like I'm quick to ask for help versus trying to figure something out, especially when you're dealing with large sums of money like that, right? Like you don't want to just be
doing
I don't have it to
anything.
just throw away. Like that's not it. So it's one of those just asking for help, asking for guidance, direction, opinions, to make the best logical choice for you in your situation.
How should Black people, in your opinion, think about ownership in real estate? And why should we as a community value it?
I think it should be valued because ownership, I believe, gives you opportunity. It gives you opportunity. It puts you in positions to leverage what you own in different ways. Right? Whether you have a child who may be a first generation college student, and you need to figure out how to get that tuition. And you've been living in your house for 7 years. Right? You got equity in that house. The equity in that house may pay for that child's education.
Yeah.
Right? The equity in that house may help you get a new car. The equity in that house may be the down payment for your second house that becomes an investment property. It's a tool. It's a tool that you can use in various different ways to help you, and not only you, but your family, and it's something that you own. It's yours. In a time in which we throw money away all the time in rent, right? Like, renting is fun. Not fun. It's easier because without all the liability and access. But I know that there's a lot of different philosophies around it. My personal philosophy is if I got to pay rent every month, most mortgages are cheaper than rent. Right? So
yeah,
it's also a financial gain that way. Right?
Okay.
If you're living in a townhouse, you got association fees and all the rest of that on top of your rent, on top of whatever much they are overcharging you over the mortgage for their profit. So you kind of eliminate the middleman and just get straight to it.
Okay, that's dope. I like that a lot. I got a few more questions here I want to ask you about, inspiring our audience and our viewers that, people are in the day and age now with social media and everything that's, available to us, millennials and Gen Zers nowadays that you may not have had access to growing up. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. I encourage, people to have a side hustle or something that they own outside of their corporate job or their 9-to-5 job, right? How do you feel about that? And, what is your advice to those that want to get into entrepreneurship?
It's not for the faint heart. You got to be built for this.
Do you think entrepreneurs you can build that, or do you think you have to be born with that?
No, I don't think you have to be born with it. I think it has to be at some point around some corners it's a choice.
Okay.
And sometimes it chooses you. For me, it chose me.
How so?
I was a horrible employee.
Yeah. Same.
I'm not a horror. It's not intentional.
Yeah.
I think it's just not in me that way.
For sure.
Right. And I never really have been passionate about any job other than basketball.
Yeah.
And so when the opportunity, and more and more that started to kind of shed light. Right. My entrepreneurial spirit came. My middle child, Kaya, was being born in March 2011. And understanding and taking notice to my poor employee track record, right? The longest job I've ever had is with TiVo Sports, by the way. So I knew that I wanted to own something.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to be in position to earn money on my own in case I lost my job.
Yeah. So you feel like your business brought you more security than
it
being
did because
employee.
I felt like I always had a way.
Right.
Like I had a way. Right. And there's no excuses for not having a way. Right. Like when you have a platform to earn, there is no excuses. You just got to do the work.
Yeah.
There is no option. There is no calling in sick. There is no I don't feel like it. There's none of that. It's the work.
Yeah.
If you want the results, it's the work.
For
there
sure.
is no shortcuts. And so that propelled me into this world. And when I got into it, it was just like, yeah, I did it part-time for 7-8 years, and then kind of really just went full-time into it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And also, for me personally, I had a very supportive wife
Mm-hmm.
who kind of carried the bag when, through some of my bullshit employee days,
Yeah.
right? Like, she carried it. So being in a position to then, oh, well, this is what I can do. This is how I can move.
Mm-hmm.
And her seeing it, right? Like, honestly, she knew I was ready before I did.
Yeah.
But it's the true fact. She knew I was ready before I did.
It's typically how it goes.
And
Other
so-
people see it in you first.
Yeah. And so from an entrepreneur standpoint, what I tell people is really, it's really super simple.
Mm-hmm.
Work in your passion, and you won't feel like work.
How does one find their passion? What?
It's the thing. You sit down, you sitting on your couch, you ask yourself, what can I do for free? What would I do for free?
Mm-hmm.
What would I do for free? Right? I mean, all these young people right now, dude, you can wake up and be anyone and anything you want to be in this world.
Yeah.
True facts.
That is fact.
We're at a place where it's accepting.
For sure. And it's wanted.
So my point is, when you could be anything.
Yeah.
But find out what you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a dude at home and you got 50 pairs of shoes, sneakers, you clearly are passionate about sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out how you monetize that.
Yeah. Whether that's starting a blog,
Because here's the
whatever the
idea.
case may be.
If you don't, you'll be like I was.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you are not passionate about, that you so-called do for work, when it gets hard, you will quit
Yeah.
because it's not worth it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any value in it. You'll quit.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it gets tough, as soon as it gets hard, I'm done. Right? And you'll move on to whatever the next thing is.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Every job I had to, I woke up in the morning and says, I got to go to work. I got to go to work. I got to go to work. T-Will Sports is probably the hardest job I've ever done. The hardest shit I've ever done. It's always hard. It's hard. It's stressful at times.
Mm-hmm.
It's unpredictable at others.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? I wake up every morning, I get to go to work.
Yeah.
That mentality is shifted. I don't have to. I get to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not really working. This is fun to me. And even in its hardest days, it's fun.
Yeah.
The challenge. I'm driven by the challenge of it. I'm driven by the challenge to morph it, to change it, to figure out how to get to the next level, how to change. How do I fix that? How do I tweak that? How do I get ahead of the competition? How do I get ahead of my competitors? How can I beat somebody else to this destination?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't even know where that destination is, but I just know it's the next level,
Yeah.
right? And that the toxic part of this is real simple. It's for every goal. If I'm telling you, for example, my goal, let's say my goal is to make $1 million, as an example. Right now, $1 million is my ceiling. And I'm pushing, I'm scrapping, I'm carving. And it's a hard journey to get from where you are to that $1 million. The toxic part of it, in my opinion, the day after I hit the $1 million, it goes from my ceiling to my floor.
Mm-hmm.
And you start that hell process all over again.
Yeah.
Right?
So how do you go about creating
And so-
goals?
I live in that toxic thought process
Yeah.
currently that I'm trying to change
Yeah.
to a point where you have to be, I believe I personally have to get to a point of hitting a goal, pausing. You asked me if I want to rewind time or pause it.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. Appreciate how, where, and why you are where you are. Regroup. Take inventory. Make sure your product is quality. Maintain quality control. Master the level. And then level up. Right?
Yeah. That's a whole That's a whole little right there is how you can begin your journey. Those bars that he just gave us right there. Damn. I like that.
Yeah, so it's we
Like that a
we
lot.
spend a whole lot of time chasing goals.
Mm-hmm.
You can. But
Mhm.
if you don't pause, you miss a lot in between.
Yeah.
You miss a lot in between, right? You miss a lot. Like if you never paused, how you gonna write that book on how to do a sweetwear brand,
Mm-hmm.
right? So during that pause, you start writing that manual, or you get that manual written in that time, right? You leveled up during a pause,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you just created another way to make more money
For sure.
without chasing something different
Mm-hmm.
right now, without chasing the next dollar, right? You brought value to you as a person, you as an owner, and you as a brand. You've brought value there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big thing.
100%.
Is
Okay.
being able to do that, continuing to bring value to yourself and others, right? Because you think about all the things we just said. We talked about entrepreneurship. You asked me what's the greatest shoe ever made. Jordan 5.
Mm-hmm.
It costs more than for that shoe than it does to start a business.
For sure.
We talked about fashion. It costs less than a Gucci belt to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
It costs less than a Gucci belt to start a belt making business.
Yeah.
For
sure. So it's really a mindset shift that you got to have from going from consumer to being a producer in a sense.
If that's your vision,
Yeah.
right? Whatever your vision is, whatever it is. I mean, like, and in this digital world we live in, the opportunities are endless. I can't. Her name escapes me, but there's a woman on YouTube who makes $1 million a year. You know what she does?
What you do?
She records herself daily making her kids lunch.
Wow. Yeah. There's too many ways to get paid.
So my point, dude, she records herself daily making her kids lunch and just rambling.
we
She
go
making
find who
$1
that
million
lady
though.
is.
So my point, like, as
Yeah.
I said, so what are the excuses?
Yeah.
I mean, when I say the opportunities are what you decide they are, what you make it,
They're endless.
right? You can make any opportunity you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can create it. You know, opportunities, they're not given, they're created.
For sure.
I don't want to hear the whole, I haven't got a chance, create the chance. They won't let me sit at their table, make a new table.
Right.
I can't get in the room, make another room.
Right.
Go there, kill it, and then invite them to yours.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, the mentality has to be on some level savage about what you want.
Yeah. For sure. How does one deal with failure though?
Keep going.
Yeah.
Failure was yesterday. Today's a new day. Right? I mean, you can give it as much energy or not as much energy as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, For the Love flop tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what. I'm gonna ask you what the new name is.
Hey man.
I mean, we don't have much time to talk about that. I mean,
For sure.
What are you gonna do about that?
For sure.
I mean, you asked me those rapid fire questions. Anything that had anything to do with past tense and changing that, I couldn't choose that.
Mm-hmm.
It's forward.
For sure.
You ever try to drive a car looking in the rear view? You're gonna hit
Can't.
some shit,
Right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
it's counterproductive,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, the car's still moving,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got to look forward. Whatever failure is, it is what it is, man. We are all gonna experience failure. Shit, I probably fail once a week at something.
Right.
Something didn't work out once a week, right? And if I ever gave that one thing that much energy, it'd take away from all the wins I had.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about wins, and we go wrap up our show in a minute here. But I feel like the conversation been going great, and I think our viewers and our listeners gonna really appreciate this conversation. That's just looking to get started. You know what I mean? If you looking for insight and trying to figure out just where do I get started. But speaking on wins, what has been your most significant achievement to this day? up until this day, as far as your entrepreneurial journey and your
Entrepreneurial
business?
journey?
Yeah.
Embarking on the 5-year mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Embarking on the 5-year mark. Like the surviving,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Not just surviving, but also thriving.
Yeah.
Being able to offer jobs to people who look like me. Creating experiences. And I think that, I think doing what most probably being a surprise to
Mhm.
some, right? Like not necessarily knowing that I won't say that people didn't believe I could do this.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, in my mindset, the only thing that matters is the people that matter.
Yeah.
So I've had the full support of my family. Well, my wife is absolutely the cornerstone of my success as an entrepreneur. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something about my journey I'm most excited and I can say I'm most proud of is the fact that, she is as supportive as she is and contributes the way she does.
Okay. That's super dope, man. Yeah, man, I love that. Love that answer. I wanted to also ask, where do you see T Will Sports and your real estate company? Where do you see that in the next 5 years as you now embark on the 5-year mark?
I hope to have made more investments and 40 acres investments, more and different investments
Mhm.
with that, and have it to a point where it's thriving. For T Will Sports, just expansion of national programming.
Okay.
Doing national programming.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Shoot it.
What are the 3 things that you want out of life right now?
Great question. 3 things that I want out of life right now.
Most important things.
Freedom.
What kind of freedom?
Financial freedom. To be well in health, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, again.
Mm-hmm.
And to reach the level of happiness that I desire to have, that I've written out. So those are like I said, those are the 3 things that I'm looking for to have in life right now.
You have control over all 3?
Yes.
That make you feel good about it?
Makes me feel it's not even an adjective to describe it. I feel like it's just a matter of time
Right.
and when, not how, or I've already figured out the why. I know my why. So
Once you know your why, everything else is easy.
100%.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just really learning who I am and what I want to be. And that's why I seek to have amazing people like yourself in my life that I could pick up the phone and call, text. Some days I be in the grind. I might not answer the phone, but you're going to keep calling. And I truly appreciate that. And another reason why I wanted to start the show is to, be a better communicator and find different avenues of giving back as I start to pick up the intensity in my grind and just kind of get back after it and figure out what worked in the beginning and how I have to navigate it. I feel like this time around to reach the next level, as we spoke about.
Mm.
So, yeah.
I can say that for you, being able to watch you from coming to speak at a small gathering about entrepreneurism 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
to you selling T-shirts at a Dream Classic event. I think my daughter was just like walking around in that long sleeve orange For the Love T-shirt we got at the event that day. But to see that and your growth from there to your experience at the Mall of America to now being in the prestigious West End, the growth has been there. I know the journey is, it's been tough
For sure.
in this industry and in the lane in which you choose to be in. But I have a tremendous respect for your grind, your willingness to ask for help, your willingness to seek more information, right? Like you continuously seek the information. It's the one thing that we're all missing. It's the one thing that most people in our community don't have is the information.
Yeah.
Right? The further up the line, the different the information. But you seem to be willing to go through the trenches to find that information.
From the trenches, man.
And that for me, that is refreshing to see. And you should be celebrating where you are now as much as where you want to go.
Appreciate that, man.
I appreciate you having me on the show, man. It's been fun.
For sure. Before we leave, I got one last question.
Yeah.
Greatest rapper of all time.
Jay-Z.
Okay. I can't argue that. That's mine too. Give me your favorite Jay-Z bar. Or favorite Jay-Z song. You ain't got a rapper bar. Favorite Jay-Z song. Bar or a song.
Favorite Jay-Z song. Which one is it? It's hard. It was a lot. There was a lot of bars.
For sure.
There was a lot of man. Favorite album. I can give you.
All right, favorite album. Let's do favorite album.
My favorite album from him was the Black Album.
Black Album.
Yeah.
Like that. Can't really argue that one. That What More Can I Say? It's legendary.
I believe I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. He's not my favorite rapper, but he is the greatest rapper of all time. I don't know if I have a favorite rapper. I have a favorite rap group. I don't know if I have a favorite rapper.
Okay. Favorite rap group?
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang?
Yeah.
Side of my era.
Oh, Wu-Tang's in everyone's era.
Okay. Nah.
No,
Okay.
Yeah. Big, I love hip hop music.
Okay. All right, man. My man Tim Williams.
I appreciate
Thank you so much, man. So we wrapping up another episode of For the Love University. I'm your host, Davey Dave. Have my guy Tim Williams on the show. And we out.
Peace.
Peace.